The story of Tin Sleep Canyon begins in Wyoming. The canyon is located just east of the town of Tin Sleep, Wyoming, and has a stunning geological feature in the Bighorn Mountains, Tin Sleep Canyon, carved by Tin Sleep Creek. This scenic canyon is renowned for its dramatic limestone and dolomite cliffs, formed over millions of years by the wind, water, and glacial activity, with the valley shaped by glaciers as recently as 250,000 years ago. The canyon's U-shaped valley and the 10-mile-long West Moraine are evidence of this glacial history.
For all the talk about the market being expensive, the main drivers have gotten cheaper. Now, the big
This short video is raw video footage of driving up the lower part of the canyon. There's wind noise and a few camera bumps, so beware. This video was recorded in August, and you can hear Charles Payne of the Business News in the background. Enjoy.
This is the McLean Classic. It means we're back on track. Let's bring in Keys U Wealth Asset Management Partner and Wealth Manager Mario Venerosa. Mario, first, just your thoughts on today's session, because over the weekend, it felt like it could go either way. A lot of doom and gloomers that came out of the caves and started to stoke the fans of fan and flames of anxiety at the very least.
Absolutely. So I always tell my investors this: you got to separate the signal from the noise. And here's the bottom line: the market pulled back 2% last week, but we have to look at the underlying themes within the market. Number one, as they say in real estate, location, location, location. In the stock market, it's all about earnings, Charles, and earnings growth has been resiliently strong. We're actually going to get double-digit earnings growth, which is magnificent. And speaking of the Magnificent Seven, their earnings growth for this quarter is going to be around 26%. So, look, at the end of the day, earnings are strong. Companies are mitigating through some of the tariff effect, which is good. And I think these markets ultimately will be higher.
Here's the thing: AI preparedness. This is a great map. It shows the world, right? Because the world is racing toward this thing, right? It's a global race, and it's just gotten started. On top of that, folks, the fact of the matter is that we've got the lead here, right? And so last week we saw these earnings from a lot of the hyperscalers. We're going to put some of that up here, but people can kind of put in perspective. We've been hearing now for almost 2 years that the spending was done, that the investment was done. It gets higher and higher and higher. Now some believe this goes through 2030. We're talking maybe trillions of dollars instead of hundreds of billions.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, we want to be Prefontaine. We want to be winning that race. And if you go back to the previous slide, you'll see we're blue, not just like my tie over here. We're leading the way. And look at all the earnings. Right. Look at Meta. Look at Google. They said, 75 billion CapEx.
Campground.
You know what?
Salt Lake
we don't want to be late to the game, because the bigger risk is being late to the game and not ahead of the game. And now they're doing 85 billion. And they're just one out of the many of the companies.
I know Palantir is another name that you like right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Palantir,
300 billion years ago.
They're going to report. And it's interesting because for a long time, what happened with Palantir is I think the street was caught flat-footed. So you would see 1 week after they reported up 50%, up 50%, up 46%, up 40%. Hit a little bit of a bump, down a little bit last time. But it seems to me, if I'm looking at this, I want to be long going into earnings, not short.
Yeah, absolutely. Palantir is the #1 stock in the S&P 500, and it's for a reason. Their earnings growth is phenomenal. So they're all about software, and they're expected about $938 billion. And what I want to see within overall their earnings, I want to see their top, bottom line, and I want to see their guidance, just like the rest of the market.
Put this up here, your checklist, higher top, bottom line, your margin expansion, AI factors, and software solutions. I hate to say it, but it feels like they should be able to check all these boxes. on time. I love it because it's under the radar. It's killing it. It's killing it. No one talks about
By
it.
the time my grandma asked me, should I buy NVIDIA? I know it's time to sell. I said, no, Grandma, focus on the sauce and buy some Broadcom
All right,
stuff.
let's talk about CrowdStrike. This has become sort of everyone's favorite, but sometimes I think leads to bumps in the road. We can see here it's kind of pulled back here recently, but you say it's a buy. You don't worry about the temporary, some potential volatility.
No, absolutely not. So at the end of the game, you want to buy low and sell high. So it cleared 500. It started pulling back, but I think the overall thing, and the biggest thing about CrowdStrike compared to other security firms, what do they focus on? They focus on the cloud, and you need the cloud for AI. So it's all correlated. I think it's an opportunity, and I think around 450, there should be a lot of support. And look, it goes back up from 450 to 520. That's over a 10% move. Nothing wrong with that.
Right, and so in your mind, it's the preeminent play in the cyber
Yes,
space.
absolutely.
Mario, thank you very much.
Always.
Looking good, man.
Thank
All right,
you.
folks, by the way, speaking of earnings, let's face
There's
it,
a booger hole.
Amazing quarter. Check this out. This is your blended returns. 10.3% on June 30th. The street was looking for 4.9%. This is absolutely mind-boggling. By the way, it's not just earnings, right? You go within these earnings, margins. Everyone's talking about tariffs and pressuring companies. Margins are holding up pretty good. Right now, 12.7%. The street was looking for 12.2%. I'm going to bring in Banrion Capital Management, their founder and CEO, Shanna Sissel. It's first I want to get your thoughts on this earnings season. I think it's been overplayed. Friday, whatever, tariffs and jobs report, but I think we're losing sight because ultimately, isn't earnings the mother's milk of rallies?
Absolutely, and I think the reason we're seeing such strong earnings is because going into this quarter, a lot of companies were playing down how the tariffs would affect earnings. They were very cautious and they gave very conservative guidance. As time has gone by, we've seen the tariffs continue to be pushed back more, so they haven't seen the actual impact, and thus they've had much stronger earnings because
climbing the rocks
what
over
they had
here.
expected and what they had sort of guided on basically. Website these days. There's no server behind anything. Everything's in the cloud. And so for that reason, cybersecurity within the cloud is paramount. So CrowdStrike's a leader in that space. They have continued to grow. I don't think people realize that in terms of market share, they have a lot of upside potential there. And they've just been very conservative in the way that they've managed the company. They've made some good acquisitions, and all of those things really are a tailwind to the
Shanna,
stock.
let me ask you about Cisco because we've seen Oracle come back out of nowhere. Larry Ellison, the second richest person on the planet right now. Cisco's another name that's reinvented itself, huh?
Yeah, so Cisco is a name that has burnt me over and over again because on paper it always looks cheap and competitive, but it's been a bit of a value trap.
Right.
I think that changes. They've done a great job moving their revenue. It's now 50% subscription services with growing ARR. They've made some smart partnership agreements with firms like IBM and Microsoft.
It is.
And they continue to grow and move in the network space. You're looking at wireless and things of that nature where they're the dominant player. I don't think they get a lot of attention. I think sometimes what happens is stocks, as a company does really well, the stock doesn't always catch up just because of the investor sentiment. But this is a stock that I think people should be paying
Glance at
attention
the map
to.
every once in a while, dear. See the map down here?
I think it has the confidence that going in this time around, I won't get burned again. But, it's a company that people should be paying more attention to.
I can tell you right now, that chart is eye-popping. I think folks are paying attention. Shanna, thank you very much. Talk to you again real soon.